In 2024, let's live well in our own rhythm. This is the main theme of today's content that Intellectual Bookshelf wants to share with you in these final days of the year. It's a sharing piece from the bookshelf of classic works by Intellectual Bookshelf through a masterpiece named Walden, or Life in the Woods, by the American writer, poet, and philosopher Henry David Thoreau. Firstly, as the New Year's Eve approaches, Intellectual Bookshelf extends wishes to all of you, those who are watching and following the channel of Intellectual Bookshelf. May you have a new spring filled with enthusiasm, joy, and live meaningfully for every moment of the present, right on the path that each of us chooses. I also hope that in 2024, all of us can live well in our own rhythm. Now, please join me in watching today's shared video content. There is someone who never follows the footsteps of others. In 1833, there was an outstanding young man named Thoreau. He was admitted to Harvard University, and in his spare time, he often wrote essays and contributed to newspapers. He did so out of his passion, not as an endeavor for achievements. He read many books, but did not wish to tread the well-worn path of those who came before him. He chose to live life in his own unique way. Thoreau lived in an era when the American economy was ascending in the 19th century. The society was making significant strides towards industrial civilization. During that time, everyone was racing on the path of life. Some knew how to take advantage of the opportunities and swiftly accumulated wealth, becoming leaders of the era. Some preferred to stick to the careers left by their ancestors, enduring hardships yet never falling behind. Others had to withdraw from the race to the countryside to work as farmers. And there were some, no matter how hard they tried, were left far behind. In the eyes of many, Thoreau was considered one of those left behind, a pitiful man who could never move forward. After graduating, Thoreau worked as a journalist, but his manuscripts were not approved by the chief editor. He also cooperated with his brother to run a private school, but it eventually went bankrupt. After that, he worked at his father's pencil factory. In this job, he was quite successful. By implementing innovations, he created a type of pencil with technology never seen before. This was the opportunity that allowed him to earn a substantial amount of money and become wealthy. However, Thoreau decided not to further the production. Instead, he chose to end this job because to him, a daily life repeating work for the sole purpose of earning money was truly tedious. He didn't want to endure the torture of repetitive work or the constraints of life, just for the desire to have a beautiful house or a luxurious meal like everyone else. As a result, while those around him became increasingly prosperous, Thoreau became poorer. He couldn't even afford rent, and whenever someone advised him to learn from others, Thoreau firmly replied, "I would rather sit on a pumpkin and have it all to myself, than be crowded on a velvet cushion. I would rather ride on earth in an ox cart, free and unrestricted, than in a grandeur carriage of a journey and breathe the fumes of their horses." According to him, the most important thing in life is not surpassing others or being on par with them. Achieving success like everyone else might not bring true happiness. What's crucial is for each of us to find our own rhythm, our own pace. Because he was someone who didn't follow the pace of others, someone who didn't allow any rules to restrain himself. These were the very things that made Henry David Thoreau a writer, a poet, a naturalist, a thinker, a pioneering advocate of transcendentalism, and a philosopher on nature and its relationship with human life. It can be said that he is one of the few American writers of the 20th century who had such a profound impact and was cherished by readers worldwide. Walk with your own pace. At the age of 28, when most people were pursuing money and material possessions, Thoreau decided to abandon it all. With a borrowed axe, he ventured into the pine woods by Walden Pond, where he chopped wood, built a simple house, and witnessed the breathtaking scenery of Walden Pond. He spent a considerable time building his house, all alone with just an axe in hand. Every day on his way back from the woods, he heard the echoing songs of the birds. During winter, he chopped wood to prepare the necessary materials, and as spring arrived, his cabin was finally complete. Thoreau invested a little saved money to purchase second-hand lumber, and began decorating the interior of his abode. Slowly, calmly, and diligently, using his own hands, without rush, pressure, or laziness. He slowly and contentedly built a nest for himself. Over the next 2 years, he befriended the mountains, rivers, and stars, conversing with birds, the lake, and fish. His thoughts soared, free in the silence of nature, a simple life. All of these experiences were condensed into his classic work, Walden, or Life in the Woods. A serene pond or a self-built wooden house surrounded by the forest, along with the melodious bird songs, Thoreau's life at Walden Pond touched the hearts of many readers worldwide. Walden influenced American literature, impacted the social movements of Gandhi and Martin Luther King, and inspired countless modern individuals yearning for a peaceful life. He said, "Man has become the tool of his tools." And also remarked, "A man is a success if he gets up in the morning and goes to bed at night, and in between does what he wants to do." In this journey of life, akin to a marathon race, everyone is running in different directions at varying speeds. Some start successfully, some bloom late, some live a mediocre life, and some are prematurely eliminated from the game. Dreams, abilities, thoughts, or luck can all become variables that distance you from others. We'll never be in sync with everyone, nor will we ever move forward or backward in unison with others. And if you keep thinking, "How far have I come? How much have I gained?" you might lose your own rhythm. The only way is to run at your own pace, to live well in your own stride. That's how we can confidently navigate through storms and step into new, vibrant territories within our own lives. Walking at your own pace is the only way to persevere through every challenge. When Thoreau set foot at Walden Pond, he encountered numerous difficulties that needed to be addressed. Firstly, he needed to figure out how to survive in this desolate forest. During the house construction, due to the need to chop wood and carry it from early morning, he exerted considerable effort each day. However, finances were tight, and there wasn't enough time for farming. Consequently, he managed his hunger each day with a simple diet of corn and wild vegetables. Many villagers nearby advised him against living there, as it was believed one couldn't survive without bread or pork. Yet, Thoreau proved them wrong. Even with only cornmeal and vegetables, he could maintain his health. Indeed, the real challenge for Thoreau wasn't starvation, it was the winter there. The winter by the pond lasted about 3 to 4 months. On days with heavy snowfall, Thoreau's wooden house became as cold as an ice house. But he found various ways to endure the cold. He ventured into the snow-covered woods, brought back aged logs for constant fires, and thickened the walls with clay. In this secluded area during winter, every freezing night, Thoreau admired the flickering flames and listened to the wind outside his house. He seemed to hear a symphony in the gusts of wind, a majestic song. Through this, Thoreau found happiness in the most improbable circumstances. Many tried to persuade him to find a suitable job, even to work mundane tasks on a farm. But Thoreau said, "I want to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life." The hardships at Walden not only failed to shatter Thoreau's initial intentions, but also provided him with strength and a determination to dedicate himself entirely to life. You see, when someone is determined to live for themselves, they maintain a calm and optimistic attitude amidst all difficulties and dangers. They walk in their own rhythm, free from panic or anxiety, undisturbed by the clamor of the external world, unafraid and unbeaten by immediate hardships. Whatever your choices may be, however you choose to live your life, you cannot escape the challenges of fate. What we need to do is nurture a strong heart, maintain inner calmness, nurture courage, and persistently tread the path we choose. In this book, Thoreau vividly shares a lifestyle, recounting a summer morning where he was rowing a small boat, gently rocking on the calm surface of the lake. Arriving at the center of the lake, Thoreau lay back and dozed off without realizing it. Upon waking up, he noticed the boat had drifted ashore, likening his free-spirited heart to that of a bird. Although his days at Walden were challenging, Thoreau experienced a peace and joy he had never known before. Every day, he encountered guests from nature, sometimes a breeze carrying floral scents, other times a shy bird, and occasionally a playful, wandering rabbit. Every time Thoreau stepped into the woods, he felt a primal vigor awakened within him. As night descended, from the horizon, sounds echoed, the distant bellow of a cow, followed by dogs barking, the wind, and the flowing water. Nature's symphony made him feel unlonely, even when alone in the deserted night. Thoreau couldn't contain his emotions in the book, expressing, "My heart was free, happiness and joy overflowed in my abode." In that liberated state, Thoreau began meditative contemplation about philosophy. He observed the world and the external things, while delving deep into the genuine nature of his inner self. He read extensively, wrote extensively, and met knowledgeable individuals. His time by the lake was a period of self-molding. He wasn't a failure, nor was he a recluse living in despair. He lived fully, much like a deeply rooted tree firmly grounded in the soil, while never forgetting to gaze upon the vast sky. Thoreau's story reminds me of Haruki Murakami's quote, "No matter what the world says, I will believe in the accuracy of my feelings. No matter what others think, I will never break my rhythm. What I like will naturally persist, and what I don't like will never endure." Therefore, only by doing what you love can you truly and enduringly feel happiness. If every step we take mirrors someone else's life, even if we succeed, we won't experience genuine joy or discover life's true meaning or find freedom within our souls. Therefore, you must understand yourself, see your heart clearly from the start, reject external interference, and chart a path for yourself. A reader once wrote a letter to Thoreau after reading his work, expressing a desire to follow in his footsteps and live alone in nature. Surprisingly, Thoreau staunchly refused, telling the person that everyone should follow their own hearts and live as their unique selves. This aligns with the purpose of his writing, hoping that everyone could become their own Columbus. In history, Columbus ventured out to explore new continents, but each of us needs to discover our own continent, to live and experience our own land. In this world, no two leaves are the same, and no two people are identical. Only by following our own path can we live a happy, truly meaningful life for ourselves. It's like a scholar once said, "The best things always happen when you least expect them, so you don't need to rush to catch up." Following your own rhythm, you'll keep moving through each day. Thoreau lived by the lake for only 2 years, and I'm sure many wondered. Finally, he gave up on his own pace, but Thoreau explained his departure as firmly as when he arrived. He wanted to experience many lives, so he didn't want to invest more time in this life here. There's a truth that we easily fall into certain habits without knowing and then enter a rut. If you're too accustomed to the joy of success or our current life, we are prone to follow old tracks. There are countless footprints left on the surface of this earth, and the path of thought is the same way. The major roads in the world have been eroded and dusty. The imprints of tradition and social conventions have been deeply ingrained. In the course of the author's experimental life, at least he discovered that if a person boldly moves forward according to their dreams and tries to live what they dare to think and imagine, they can achieve unexpected success in the years of their life. This means you don't necessarily have to follow the path of successful people to succeed. You can take a different path to live the life you truly desire. Why do we lower the standards of our souls to live with dull thoughts and repetitive work, calling it conformity to societal norms and considering it the right thing to do? Why must we disregard everything and engage in a job just to chase success, fame, or solely to make money? Someone said, "All things done just for making a living are not worthy of our lives," and it's a fact to ponder. In life, if someone constantly strives to keep up with the steps of their peers, it might be because they've heard the drums of chasing someone, satisfying some needs. And these steps also stem from thoughts suppressed in this life. We've clothed everything around us in various shapes and symbols, but in the end, only truth brings meaning to us, and only truth can stand against the challenges of time. The truth here is the answer to the question, are you truly happy with life now? No matter how modest your life may be, you still have to live it to the fullest, live well in your own rhythm. Never run away, never blame or complain about it. Even if it's very difficult, you must invest your enthusiasm and current life. Even in a cramped place, you can still find joy and light. Don't be too hasty in seeking progress, and don't rely too much on external forces. It's all futile. Excess wealth only buys surplus things. The necessities of the soul can be obtained without money. The book Walden, or Life in the Woods, will surely evoke different emotions in each of us. There's no need for complete agreement, nor does everyone have to concur. However, if you find yourself harboring grievances, unsatisfied with what you have, feeling pressured by your desires, or uncertain about the next steps, I'm confident that by immersing yourself in the original text of this work, you'll discover your own tranquil Walden pond. Finally, in the author's closing words, which left me with much contemplation, he wrote, "Only that day dawns to which we are awake. There is more day to dawn. The sun is but a morning star." In the notes section, the morning star is likened to a guide for us. Thoreau hopes that in the remaining part of our lives, we all can explore a new path at our own pace and experience an entirely different life. Because life isn't about how much you have, it's about the experiences you gain. Here's to all of us breaking away from the rut, finding what we truly love, and living well within our own rhythm. This video was made in the final days of the year, a moment preparing to embark on a new journey. I hope that the foremost thing in the new year is that we might have a different beginning than our previous steps, and that we all can find our own rhythm, living wholeheartedly with all our passion. Lastly, thank you for listening. Goodbye and see you in the next videos.